YouTube. It's getting cold. Brr. Hey everyone, it's Mike, this old hot rod up here in Massachusetts, and I'm working on my motor mounts. This is just a quick paper template that I kind of just cut it out. I just grabbed a piece of paper, looked at the motor mounts that are on my 29 sedan, and kind of just bent it up. The top of the motor mounts on my 29 sedan are 3.5 inches wide. So essentially that's 3.5 inches. And I'm going to use a early Ford style mount, so it has the biscuits. So I'll have a hole drilled here for my biscuit, or wherever it needs to be. They'll be shaped like this. Probably flare it out a little bit. I don't know, I think it gives it a little more character. Like it took a little bit extra time thinking it through by just flaring these outsides out a little bit. Quick paper template, nothing crazy. Didn't go crazy with the dimensions. Kind of took it as I was cutting and shaping it. I kind of took it, figured out, you know, roughly give or take what I needed for material, you know, to make sure I had enough distance in relation to where the mount was going to go. As of right now, the motor's centered in the frame rails. This is an old chrome Hurst motor mount that a lot of people ran on Oldsmobiles. These came on the motor, so it was kind of nice that I already had some old chrome. I mean, they should clean up pretty good. So anyways, motor mount will be something like that. And then, you know, I'll drill my hole, figure out where it needs to be. Once I set the motor, I'll know where the motor's got to be located, and I'll get these located on the frame rail, and I'll get everything cleaned up and tacked in place. I'm gonna get to work right now just marking out my templates on some steel. I had a piece of 3/16 plate. Everything that I found online for motor mounts, like an early Ford style motor mount, like a Tardell style motor mount, is 3/16. I'm thinking it's going to be enough. I'm going to go ahead, clean up some of this metal, get these marked off, and start cutting. So I'm going to get to work doing that and get things cleaned up real quick. Got my handy Trulers. If you guys never heard of Trulers, he has an Instagram page, and his products are second to none. I'll show you what I mean if you are not familiar with them. Just my head cover. These are Trulers. They're magnetic rulers. This is the 1/8 inch ruler. So each point, high and low, is 1/8 of an inch. So the top of each white triangle is 1/8 of an inch, as well as the bottom of each black is 1/8 of an inch. And then obviously the measurements go up from there. I ripped this one, unfortunately. I need to get some new ones, but I'll show you why these things are just fantastic. I mean, I guess truthfully, I already did the work. I guess the work is all done. All right, I wanted to say thank you to Dave from down in Connecticut. He brought these to me after a video a few videos ago where I kept losing my gloves. He told me that he had a pair of gloves that I'd never lose. And I guess because they have bright green reflective material on them, he said he was going to give me some gloves. So Dave, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate the support. And I'm certainly going to put them to use. And I can't guarantee I'm not going to lose them, because I lose everything. I mean, you just saw me. I just found my glasses. So I guess technically I don't lose things. I just misplaced them for a little while. So perfect fit. Yeah, awesome. I'm going to get right to it. Motor mount plates cut up. Gotta get these cleaned up. How I ended up, I wanted to make sure that the sides were even. So what I did was, I knew I was 3.5 across the top. So I measured, so an 1 3/4, or a little under 3.5, 3 1/4. So, and I found my center line, and then I just made sure that the profile matched. And that was how I made sure that the profiles were even. Not that anyone's ever going to see them, but still, for me knowing, I want to at least put in the time to make sure it's nice. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to clamp this motor mount to my table. And the reason I want to do that is if I can run a straight edge, on either side, so it looks as though this one might just be a touch just the smallest amount larger. What I want to do is It's not rocket science, you know. It's just getting things close and doing your best to make things symmetrical. Yeah. So that's where I'm going to bend my motor mounts. I'm not going to drill any holes in them yet because, I mean, I guess I could, because the motor mounts are slotted front to back. So as long as it's centered, which it is, then I know my distance from the inside of the frame rail to the center of that hole is essentially where my hole needs to be for the bolt for the biscuit. So I guess I can at least mark them off. I'll get the motor mounts shaped up, bent up where they need to be, and then figure out where the motor's going to go, and then I'll get them tacked in place, and then I'll get my holes drilled. I won't be able to use a drill press. I'll just have to use a regular drill instead of throwing them on the press, which is fine. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get this plate bent up now and get things ready to go. I'm just gonna use my vise. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy, because that's how we do it here. Alright guys, I kind of had to jump around a little bit. The reason for that is my friend Pete gave me this old chrome fan for an Oldsmobile, and unfortunately the spacing on the bolt pattern is a little off compared to the water pump and the pulley that's currently on the car. So I'm having to kind of elongate the holes in the fan blade in order to get the fan mounted on the car. You can see I just marked them out with a marker. I just did the first one, so I got to get these marked. I got to get these kind of elongated to where it's marked, and that will allow the fan to mount up with a pulley, which will then mount up with the water pump. And the reason I'm doing that is so I can get the fan on the motor, so I can line up the motor and figure out where the motor has to be in relation to the cross member, because I want to make sure that the fan isn't going to hit the cross member. And I'll be able to fine tune it once I get the fan mounted onto the car. So I'm just gonna keep drilling these out, or I'm using a carbide deburring bit in my drill, and yeah. I want to see how that lines up with the pulley. Looks like I gotta go just a touch more. Yeah, about the same amount on every one, so you can kind of see the marker on each one. So I gotta go a little bit more, and then hopefully I can get this mounted. See, 2 of them are good. Yeah, 2 of them are good. And these 2, I just have to open up a little bit here, and then a little bit here. Hey everyone. I'm still here in the garage working on getting these motor mounts fabricated. My GoPro SD card, for some reason, it says it's full and it's not, but that's something I'll figure out after the fact. Anyways, I was filming up until that happened. This is one of my my motor mounts. Came out good, came out exactly how I wanted it to. Started off as this flat piece of steel. Filming with my phone at this moment. So I took this and made this. It's still hot, that's why I'm holding it with a pair of vice grips. So I'm going to just take you through the process real quick of how I shaped that and bent it in the vise. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the first one and this one. It's Tuesday and it's Taco Tuesday. So I'm gonna get this shaped up real quick and then head in for some tacos. Because nobody likes missing taco night. It's gonna be a little hard for me to do and have you guys see, but this is the best I can do. Alright, that's pretty close, I would say. I can just tap it with the hammer. So I just had my buddy Justin pop by. Picked up a shirt, a t-shirt, and a bunch of stickers. He's a local guy, local hot rodder. I actually bought a motor off of him last year, or 2 years ago. Yeah, last year. An Oldsmobile 324 that I was planning on putting in another hot rod chassis, but I ended up moving that chassis along. Hung on to the motor. I've collected a lot of parts for that 324, and now he's building a hot rod with an Oldsmobile 324 that he just picked up. So he came over just to talk shop, hang out for a few minutes. He was going out to dinner up the street with a bunch of his buddies. And he just popped in to say hello. Check on the 34, see it in person because he hadn't seen it yet. Not since I had been working on it. He saw it earlier in the spring when I picked it up. But he hadn't seen it since it's kind of started transforming into what it's turning into. So just want to say thanks to Justin. It was good seeing you. Appreciate you picking up a t-shirt and stickers and, you know, just supporting everything that I'm doing. I appreciate you following me on YouTube. I know there's plenty of guys out there that are doing this stuff, and I appreciate the people that choose to hit the notification bell and subscribe and watch me, you know, build this 34 and just to do all the little things that it's going to take to get it on the road. So what do we got? Back to the fun. So I'm gonna just finish up this motor mount. I'm gonna bend this second half, and it's gonna be taco time. Did you come out to tell me dinner's ready? Huh? Is it taco time? Thank you. Alright, so far that's my finished product. See how they line up here. So I'm happy with the way they came out. I'll clean those up tomorrow when they cool down. I'll get everything marked so I know where to drill my hole. I'll drill my holes, and then figure all this out. I was able to get the fan modified so it'll fit on the pulley, fit on the water pump. I rolled the car forwards because the motor itself is on jack stands. So I rolled the car forward so I had clearance of the fan blade behind the cross member. And then I also at the same time measured the height of the fan blade and figured out what I had for a space in between my fan blade and the bottom of the radiator shell, or the grill shell, and then also between the fan and the radiator, the thickness of the radiator. It looks like I'm going to have about a 1/2 inch clearance where the motor sits now, so I'm going to have to make sure I'm very, on point in regards to the location of my motor, the height of my motor. I can go down with my motor right now, but I can't go any higher. And where it sits now, I'm happy with, but I think maybe it might end up going down just a touch, which is fine. So, all right, that's it for me for the rest of the night. It's Tuesday night. It's Taco Tuesday. I'm gonna go get me some tacos, and hope you guys have a good night. Thanks for following along. I'll see you soon.